Okay, kids, in this video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about solid figures and nets. This is topic 13.1, and you will find this information on pages 340 to 341. So you'll want to take out your books and your notebook and follow along as we go. Now, in your book, they're calling them solid figures and nets, but what we are talking about are polyhedrons. And so this lesson is going to tell us how polyhedrons are classified. A polyhedron is a three-dimensional figure made up of flat polygon-shaped surfaces called faces. The line segment where two faces intersect is called an edge. The point where several edges meet is also called a vertex. So over here you can see that we have our polyhedron, and each one of these is a face, okay? And then of course where we have our line segments where two faces meet, we have the edge, and then what we commonly call the corner is known as a vertex. All right, so those are the fundamental parts of a polyhedron. So now let's take a look at some of the different types. Prisms. A prism is a polyhedron with two identical parallel polygon-shaped bases. A prism is named by the shape of its bases. The other faces are parallelograms. So up here you can see you have a rectangular prism. So it has a rectangular base here and here. Then you have a pentagonal prism, and we would have a pentagon base right here. Okay, and if you flipped it over, you'd have another pentagon base here. Triangular prism has a triangular base. All right, and so you can see that prisms do not come to a converging point, but they have parallel faces. All right, and that's important to understand with prisms. Okay, pyramids. A pyramid is a polyhedron that has one base. A pyramid is named by the shape of its base. Triangular faces join the edges of the base to a point outside the base, which is called a vertex. And so, in other words, you know you have a pyramid because what you have is you have a shape for the base, such as a triangle, or a rectangle, or in this case a hexagon. All right, and so you have your base, but then your sides are made up of triangles which come to a converging point, and so that's what qualifies a shape as a pyramid. So this base is triangular, and the triangles converge to a point, so it is a triangular pyramid. This base is rectangular. The triangles that form the faces or the sides come to a converging point here, and then with a hexagonal base and triangles on the side to a converging point, you have a hexagonal pyramid. Then we talk about how three-dimensional figures with curved faces are classified. Okay? Some three-dimensional figures are not polyhedrons. For example, the cylinder. A cylinder has two circular bases, here and here, that are parallel and identical. That creates a cylinder. A sphere has no base. Every point on a sphere is the same distance from the center. Okay, so if you have a center point, no matter where you go on the sphere, it's the same distance. A cone. A cone has one circular base. The points on this circle are joined to one point outside the base. So a cone, of course, has a circular base, and then the sides converge to form a point there. All right? Those are the basic shapes that are not considered polyhedrons. How can you identify a solid from its net? A net is a plane figure pattern which, when folded, makes a solid. Think about unfolding a box to make a net for a rectangular prism. So if we were to take this box and unfold it, the net shows three pairs of identical rectangular faces. So it represents a rectangular prism. All right? And so you could see where your bases would be rectangles, and they'd be the larger rectangles, and you would have a top and a bottom. And then you'd have your sides, and then you'd have your sides on the end. Okay? And that is how we would take a box shaped like a net, and you'd get the faces. Time to review some polyhedrons. Okay? Now, you might not want to draw all the polyhedrons we're about to review. You might, if you want to, if you're good at art, you can just list the important information for each one. Okay? So, for example, number 1, you'd write down the number 1 and then faces, edges, vertices, and then fill in the correct answer for each one. Okay, so for number 1, you have a space for the title, and then you do faces, edges, vertices. See if you can name number 1. Here we go. You can see that it has a triangular base, triangular sides, so this is a triangular pyramid. It has a total of 4 faces. So we have a base, we have the base, we have this side, we have this side, and then we have the back side. So we have 4 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the number of edges, it would have 6 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And vertices, it would have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 vertices. Let's take a look at number 2. Leave an empty space for after number 2, then faces, edges, vertices. See if you can name this shape. Obviously, this is a pyramid because of the converging point, and its base is apparently either rectangular or a square. So the name of this polyhedron is a square pyramid. It has 5 faces, 1, the base, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because each one of these edges on the base is going to represent another face. It has a total of 8 edges, and it has 5 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Square pyramid. Let's try number 3. What shape is this? This is a cube, and it will have, of course, 6 faces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Edges, it has a total of 12 edges and 8 vertices. The cube. Let's take a look at number 4. Name this solid. It is the rectangular prism. It has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Number 5. Name this solid. This is the triangular prism. It has 5 faces, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. Name this shape. This is the cone. It has 2 faces, 1 edge, and 0 or 1 vertices, depending on how you want to interpret that point. Number 7. This is the cylinder. It has 3 faces, 2 edges, and 0 vertices. Now let's take a look at the solids and their nets. See if you can name this solid and this net. This, of course, is the cube and the cube net. It has 6 faces, 12 edges, 8 vertices. Number 9, see if you can name this solid and its net. This is the rectangular prism. The rectangular prism net looks similar to a cube. It has a total of 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Number 10. Can you name this solid and its net? This is the cone net, and it has a total of 2 faces, 1 edge, and 0 vertices, or some people will say 1 vertex. How about this solid and its net? This is the cylinder and the cylinder net. It has 3 faces, 2 edges, and 0 vertices. Number 12. What solid is this? This is the triangular prism. The triangular prism net. It has 5 faces, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. Number 13. Number 13, can you name this solid? It is a tetrahedron triangular base pyramid, and the tetrahedron net. This, of course, is commonly known as the triangular pyramid. It has 4 faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. See if you can name this solid. This, of course, is a square-based pyramid. Square-based pyramid net. It has a total of 5 faces, 8 edges, and 5 vertices. And there you have some of the basic solids that we will be working with when we find surface area.